Ba 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 ba.
Dun dun do 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 do.
Ba 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 ba.
Dun do 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 do.
Ba 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 ba.
From the Echo and Dan Gheesling's joining us.
What's up, guys?
Here's Coach Crendor.
Hey, Dan.
Who was only
The song's
7
not
minutes
over, all right?
late today.
All right.
Bird.
there
You're
you
gonna
go.
guest on this show. You need to respect the damn
All right,
intro
Dan.
song, okay?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to us talking about football. But today, sorry, that was just my post-Packer
He's a little
game.
tongue-tied. He's got a big celebrity on the show.
knows I
so
like
he's
it,
gonna-
I had to watch that Packer game. I think watching that game gave me CT. So, how's it going today? We are joined by Dan Gheesling. He's like a leprechaun. You can't catch him.
Very
true,
accurate.
Yeah,
And he is hiding a pot of gold.
Mm-hmm.
yeah I've heard that much.
Yeah, he's almost as bad as tracking down as Crendor is whenever you need him.
This
Almost.
show has been virtually impossible to record. Y'all are lucky we ever get this.
Yeah, seriously.
So really, you should go to our Patreon, which we don't have set up yet.
And I'll lampshade it.
yeah,
Daniel
there you go.
is
There you
is a Detroit Lions fan.
I'm
In
sorry.
case anyone is
Yeah.
curious, for our affiliations.
We have so many
Yes.
fans of just sad teams here.
Well, let's just say, like, whatever complaints you guys have are pretty much null and void unless you're a Lions fan. I mean, you guys have all experienced some success in your lifetime, and we're hoping for a playoff win. In my life, that's the goal.
Just
What
one
are you
win.
talking about, Dan? It's almost been a year since I last won the Super Bowl. I'm suffering over here.
Well, let me ask you this, Bear. How did you end up being a Patriots fan? Because you are from multiple locales, right?
Yeah, I lived in Massachusetts during my formative years. My first NFL memory is of Brady walking on to replace Bledsoe. I'm not messing with you.
Come on.
It happens to coincide with the greatest sports dynasty of all time. I didn't pick that on purpose. I was 12.
What could another potential Bear team have been? Logistically.
The
Well,
Bears.
you know what? We had kind of a funny thing actually while we were moving around when I was younger. That the first year that we got to a new state, the NFL team that was representing that state won the Super Bowl that year. It was the 49ers when we moved to California, and then it was the Packers when we moved to Wisconsin.
You got to move back to Wisconsin, dude.
I know, yeah, it's been a little bit. And then it was the
but right.
Patriots when we moved to Massachusetts as well. So we had it through 3 states that we were maintaining that.
Are you like football? Like you're like, if I rub you 3 times, do I win the Super Bowl or something?
I
Is it
think
some
the
kind of
magic
special-
must have worn off when I moved to Utah because there was no NFL team there. So it was like the witch that cast the
Oh.
curse on us was like, "Why have you betrayed me?" And we didn't
I
carry
feel
on
like
beyond that
Utah,
point.
Bears
Utah
in
just
Vegas
sucks
now,
it all up.
and no one even knows what the football team is in Vegas now. So
Well, I mean, they're starting to catch on around here.
Yeah, I
actually.
think it's the referees. That's
yeah, there you go.
Utah is like so Mormon that it just like deflects magical abilities.
Yeah.
They don't
Immediately,
welcome
though,
witchcraft.
Dan has worked his magic and pivoted the interview from himself onto a member of the show. So we got to turn the
All
attention.
right, we got to turn it
him.
around. So two big things I want to bring up here is that Dan interned with the Lions and worked with Adam Gase and then worked camps with Matt LaFleur. So already,
yeah.
I feel like we have questions.
I have
Mhm.
lots of questions.
I'm sure you do.
Let me give you guys the Reader's Digest. So before I went down the path of what I do now, I was planning on being a professional football coach. I was a college graduate assistant, half step forward. I worked equipment for 4 years in undergrad. And then I spent all my free time at the building. So I'd run copies and staple stuff. So after 4 years, you get relationships and there's a position open where you become a GA, and GA is kind of like your first step into college coaching. Long story short, I worked for 2 years under John L. Smith. And when he got fired, I saw a bunch of the families come in with kids crying, and one's moving to Idaho, one's moving to Washington. And I'm like, you know what? I love football, but I don't want my future being dictated by 18, 19, and 20 and 21-year-olds. But during that time, I did everything in my power to go down that pursuit. So I interned with the Lions, and And so that's kind of like my background in football. So I'm like, I was going to be a football coach until, I was in it, and I'm like, I'm good. But when
A
I
lot of people
entered,
don't get that opportunity to get their, face to face with it and be like, wow, yeah, this isn't for me.
yeah, I mean, it took literally like I gave up my entire college social life, which I think was a good thing because it really kept me out of trouble. But like when I say I spent every waking hour there, like I never went out, like I just stayed there. I'd watch film and but it was good. It was, I never worked so hard in my life, but it was like a really fun experience. And then now it's kind of cool to see like all these guys I worked with that were grunts like me. They're now like running NFL teams. It's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, and
That is
smoking
awesome.
crack on like the first press conference ever for the New York Jets. That was phenomenal.
So Gase, like when I worked with Gase, he was just like a total like gym rat, but like just a normal nice guy. But my working with him, he just didn't care about anything. Like he would like I don't know if he slept in the building, but like he would just, his entire life was football.
Yeah.
So
Slept
Yeah.
in
You
the
know?
building.
That, to be honest with you, that sounds very much to be still the case. It sounds like he wants.
It sounds like he sleeps in the building.
Yeah, to be
I can-
honest, from the reports I've heard, it sounds like he would like to lock himself in a film room all day and just do that and analyze football. I say that after a 3-game winning streak, though. So
I can already hear the teapot like sort of overflowing in the background as Rob is trying to carefully plan his words around this
Most contained
minefield.
he's ever been about Adam Gase. I
Adam
think.
Gase minefield, so not to offend Dan's old long lost friend. And
no, but I'll give Rob a little insight. So Gase got into coaching. There was this quarterback in Michigan, from Marshall, Michigan, high school quarterback. His name was Ryan Van Dyke, was getting recruited by Nick Saban. And the only reason Gase got into coaching is because Ryan Van Dyke, Saban won. He said, all right, if I come to Michigan State, you got to hook my boy Gase up. And so then Gase, instead of becoming like a student manager, he was like an assistant to like Saban and the staff. So without this quarterback, Ryan Van Dyke, he did play it looks like he got drafted or played for the Seahawks for like a year, but that's how he got in. And so Gase is like, that's why I know you're hard on Gase, and I know at Miami things didn't work out, but dude, he's a Saban guy. You're gonna be all right.
I mean,
yeah, Rob, you're gonna be all right.
It'll be all right.
Maybe.
Dan says it. You're gonna be fine.
I'd rather have Gase than Patricia. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, really?
Hold on a second
Oh.
now. What's the matter with Matt Patricia, sir? That's a deep wound you've just cut into.
I mean, have you seen how the Lions have lost games?
I have.
Well-
You just lost Matthew Stafford for a couple weeks, though. That's a pretty big factor.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I like the GM. I think the GM is the good guy. He's a Patriots guy and he's making smart moves, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't see here's what I look at in coaches. Are they perceptive of their persona? Like, meaning, like, is he doing stuff to kind of be cool? And like he does that pencil thing. I'm like, that doesn't seem like him. I think he's doing that so he's got like he's not Belichick.
You don't think the pencil thing's legit? He's been doing that for decades, dude.
But I think that's like a shtick so he can stand out. Like, I think honestly, this is my theory on guys making the next jump to head coach. You have to be on the sideline and you have to have a big presence or look to you. So you got a huge beard and you got a pencil. Think about it. Think about the coordinators who've gotten tapped for big jobs. Look at Kingsbury out of Arizona.
Patricia didn't need a fucking gimmick to get hired. He's one of the best defensive coordinators in the last 10 years.
I'm
So to
just
get
telling
in
you.
the middle here, and to like, I will say I'll lend credence to some degree to this this theory, because a lot of coaches do have like an image that they present. Like for instance, I remember
that, yeah.
I remember like Rex Ryan was always in his fucking Jets vests or whatever with the white sleeves and everyting, like every
Carroll
Sunday.
chomping on the damn chewing gum every
there
day.
you go.
Yeah.
Or,
But see, those to me, like those are like natural. Like Pete Carroll isn't doing that to get but
Yeah.
I think like and they're smart. I'm not hating it. I think the smart ones, like that could be the difference of like Martha Ford being like, oh, I saw this guy on the sidelines during the Patriots game. I like him. That's the difference in why we're gonna hire him. I'm not saying that's how it happens, but it doesn't hurt to like have that. You know, like let me Cliff Kingsbury.
I'm just amazed that you've actually come up with this theory.
No, it's like you gotta have the chops, but like in differentiating factor is this guy branded? And I feel like I don't like in terms of Patricia, it doesn't feel authentic to me. But
I mean,
you know,
Belichick's got the hoodie.
Room. But that's right. But you tell me, Bear, does he care how he looks? No. But it kind of grew into its own thing, and he was aware of that, so he, milked it. Which, by the way, let me ask you guys this. What's your opinion on Belichick being the only NFL head coach not in Madden? Have you guys talked about that?
It's kind of like how Michael Jordan was never in games either.
Well, it's just a Belichick thing. It makes sense.
Do you guys know why that's the case?
Why?
I think so, but please tell me.
It's so he's not part of the head coaches association. So every other coach, 31 other coaches are in the head coaches association, which is basically like a union of coaches. And Belichick's just like, nah. And he never wanted to be a part of it. And in fact, like the part of the whole him looking disheveled and coming up with like cut off sleeve hoodies and shit, it's just a protest to the NFL that wasn't letting him wear suits.
Right. Yeah. No, that's been a thing for a little bit too, is the fact that like he never wanted to have to adhere to any sort of bullshit dress code on the sidelines for NFL coaches. So he's always kind of taken it to the polar opposite.
Yeah. So that's why Bill Belichick's not in the Madden games, is because he doesn't have he's not part of the association, so he doesn't actually get paid for the Madden games, I don't think.
There's a dress code for the coaches?
Yeah, they can't do suits anymore.
Like it's I think, well, yeah, they used to do the suits, but like they don't do that anymore. But like now, I think there's like a bit of an expectation of like it's probably just like reasonable things like don't wear Speedos or shit like that. Yeah. You know, like I don't think they're held to any sort of real standard.
Actually, what it is they have a catalog of Nike approved gear that they can wear, and they have to pick their outfits from that selection.
So Bill picks those and then cuts off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who knew Bill Belichick was such a gangster?
Yeah,
who
it's
knew?
actually really funny.
Speaking of dress codes, can I ask you guys one more? I want to get your opinion on this. Why the NFL has, like, with Merton Hanks, is the only league that has like the uniforms under lock and key where you can only change your uniform like once every 3 years.
Right.
What do you guys think about that?
I didn't even know that. Like the players are only allowed to change their uniforms once every 3 years?
No, so
teams.
like the team.
The team. Okay, the whole team. Yeah.
So if you
I think it's
add,
even
like,
longer. I think it's 5 actually.
It may be, but like if you want to add a patch to your jersey, that counts as your change for 5 years.
I didn't know that.
I mean, like Packer jerseys. Me no want change.
That kind of makes me think about the change that's going on in the NBA right now. How they've got like this small advertisers patch that's introduced on the top left shoulder area, right?
I don't like
everyone hates that. Yeah, I mean, like that's been around in soccer forever, but now that it's being introduced to the NBA, everyone's all in a tizzy about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, it's tough to care that much about the jerseys when it comes to the actual merit of what we're talking about, because it's just, well, then again, when you really think about it, all we're cheering for are jerseys at the end of the day. We're just choosing different colored jerseys.
Yeah, we're all just chasing a big jersey.
And sometimes they look worse.
So I don't know, I'm of two minds on this, because like for me, I actually am weirdly conservative on football uniforms in that I mostly prefer the ones that look like the older ones. Like I like the ones with just like it's just blocky stripes and like simple colors and stuff. Like I think those are the best looking football uniforms. Like the Bills, I think the Bills uniform looks fucking great.
Yeah, I do too.
That looks so good. So I like those, but at the same time, I don't know. I really like, teams in college like Oregon that just like fucking fashion souls every week. That's like really cool. But I think it's like the NFL trying to maintain some sort of a brand image. I think it's ultimately stupid because, I mean, there's so many. Look, part of the reason people watch the NFL is because they follow individual players and they like individual players and they like their individuality. And the NFL likes their individuality too. So, like allowing players to have more autonomy in that way, and also allowing teams to kind of do at least, maybe not like, maybe you can keep the, don't do a full reboot unless it's once every 5 years or something, but let them have like more alternates or something like that they could change over time.
Yeah.
Like that would be nice, like something a little less restricted.
For the record, my prediction of us not getting through like all the games before Dan has to go is holding up very strong right now. I just want to go on record for saying that.
I mean, we just got to talk about Matt LaFleur very quick because obviously, you got Matt LaFleur.
Yeah. So when I was a GA at State, he was, I think, either at Saginaw Valley or a GA at Central Michigan. And so, at Michigan State, we would hold a couple camps, and like other college coaches would come in from Michigan, like Eastern, Western, and stuff like that. And so we'd work, camps and stuff, and like you would be around him, and he was a hardworking guy and stuff like that. Not someone like I can't say between him and Gase. Like, you just don't know who would have been like a head coach. It's not like back then you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's like amazing.
Yeah.
Because there were a couple assistant coaches around who were like, oh, this guy's definitely gonna be a head coach. But I think like one thing I learned about like being around, those two guys, and then Robert Saleh, who's the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, those guys just, when I look at college coaching and pro coaching, it's just a lot of it is everyone works their face off. The variable is, are you with the right person at the right place at the right time?
Right.
And I think all three of those guys, like, did a great job with who they were with, but they were with people that were moving and shaking and kind of doing that. But all three of those guys, really, really nice guys. And, it's funny to like hear Rob go off on Gase because it's like, he's just a nice guy, but I understand when you're losing ball games.
You have to introduce that caveat before every Jets rant from now on, Rob.
I mean, that's
a nice guy, but
are you saying that fans overreact?
I wish he'd die.
It should be assumed, for me at least, I don't know about the rest of you, but I assume so as well. When I hate things in sports, it's sports hate. It's a different, a different thing. Like I sports hate Tom Brady. I don't hate the guy. Although Tom Brady's a bad example. I do kind of hate the guy outside of football. But
why do you hate him outside of football?
He's got some. He's an odd bird. Let's just say that.
Why? Just because he uses like performance enhancing drugs and stuff like that?
Oh no, everybody knows this.
He cut Rob off in traffic one day.
He did.
He went off there.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was a big.
And you have a reason, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, let's move on to the games. We'll start with the guest of honor with the amazing Redskins-Lions game where the Lions lost to the Redskins somehow. That's not good. I will say that Stafford didn't play, so.
Yeah.
No, you guys talk because
well, we'd love to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, this is your team.
We go around.
All I know about the Lions is we get to play them twice a year, and either we win or the refs help us win, and that's it.
This is what it's like being a Lions fan, okay? First game of the season, 27-27 tie. Lions beat the Chargers by 3. Lions beat the Eagles by 3. Lions lose to the Chiefs in the final drive by 4. Lions lose to the Packers by 1. So if you're a Lions fan, here's what it comes down to. They make you watch until the last minute of the last game, and then they rip your beating heart out of your chest, throw salt on it, and stomp it with steel-toe boots, and then say, see you again next week. And I'm not being dramatic, and I have a friend.
I'm so glad you said that because that's a real fan talk, and I didn't know how passionate you were about it.
Bear just loves this. He loves this.
If you're from Detroit, this is how you feel. Like, I was getting my haircut today, and like talking about the Thanksgiving game. I'm like, you gonna watch? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not making it up. Like,
I know that feel, dude. I know it very well.
What are you talking about? You've been in the playoffs. You won AFC East championship. You felt it, Rob.
I mean, you felt it, Rob.
You're right. It's amazing. I never actually anticipated that we would have a more cursed fan than me or Sinvicta on the show, but we actually do. He's right.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's right. I can't argue with him. I do want to say it is really funny. Like I've been partially hyping up Dan because Dan has a lot more football knowledge than us, like direct firsthand. It is really funny to hear you talk exactly like every other fan. It's so good.
That's why it's like that's why like I don't get into like the football talk so much, because when it's like, oh, this coach doesn't know what he's doing. Bro, the dude spends 18 hours a day game planning. The NFL comes down to a couple things: refs and split-second decisions. And are your Jimmys and Joes better than their Jimmys. There's the old saying, it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmys and Joes. That's what it comes down to. It's very like in the NFL in particular, the margin of error is paper thin. So it's like, do you have number one? Do you have good players? Yes. If so, it's going to be a coin flip game unless you're the Patriots and you cheat. Fine. But every other game, it's like, you know, if everyone has guys, if your team either has guys, okay, so Lions don't have guys, Patriots have guys, Packers have guys, Tampa Bay does not have guys.
Bengals?
So if you have guys, it's going to come down to a coin flip. If you don't have guys, it's going to be a long
Bear's
road.
hard on his reaching Uncle Milty level proportions right now.
Dude, I'm letting him take every shot he wants because honestly, for me right now, it's like Big Brother holding Little Brother's head as he tries to take it away.
No, but I'm just like, at one point, like, so Krendor and even Sinvicta and Bear, like, you're used to winning multiple Super Bowls. Like, does that does it get old?
Buccaneers have won one, and that was almost 20 years ago. Let's not get ahead of her.
I haven't seen the Lions win a playoff game
All
in
right,
my
guys,
life.
we didn't make the playoffs for 2 years, and it's been hell. And it's kind of I'm glad we're going to be going back, even if we lose quickly.
I actually feel bad for complaining about not being to the playoffs in 10 years.
I wanted to bring up a little statistic because everybody loves statistics.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Detroit Lions last won a playoff game in 1991, but the Cincinnati Bengals last won a playoff game in 1990.
Oh,
They got you, dude.
They got you beat.
Do we know any Bengals fans? Do we know?
Well, actually,
don't
I was
think
just about to bring up the point that the Lions haven't beat with the 0-16 regular season, but the Bengals might be on their way.
Oh,
It's true.
they're competing for the
Buccaneers
saddest
have
fan base.
The Buccaneers have also gone winless before, by the way. I just want to make sure that we're all clear on this.
You want to jump on the front of the pity wagon real quick.
Look, I'm just saying, just because Dan is here doesn't mean that, like, oh, it's the ultimate losing fan base here. Yeah, the Lions go through hell, but like the Jets are still the Jets and the Bucs are still the Bucs. Let's not get it twisted.
You last won the Super Bowl in 2002, and that was your last playoff win. All right, so let's calm down.
Yeah, and that's the last time that we were in the playoffs, I believe, as well.
I last won the Super Bowl when my mother was 5 years old. So, you know.
Wait, Krender, how are you a Packers fan? How come you just override the Bears? Like that doesn't seem.
I'm a Cubs fan, so I was used to losing up until 3 years ago, and then I'm a Blackhawks fan, Bulls fan. Bulls fan's not fun right now, and then the Packers were because my dad loves Wisconsin, and we'd always go on vacations to Wisconsin, and he like grew up a Packers fan just because he liked watching them on TV back. So it was like when Vince Lombardi was coaching, so he's like, wow, this team's awesome. And then he kind of just like when I was growing up, he'd be like, we're going to the Packers, watching Packers, and he'd be like, God, I hate the Bears, and that would just be like 5-year-old me like, I hate Bears. So, you know.
So would you go to
Sorry, Bear.
Would
Sorry,
you go
Bear.
to Lambeau, or would you watch the Packers when they came to Soldier Field?
We
Or
would
just
like
in general on TV.
Well, we'd always go to Wisconsin. Then when I was like 9 or 10, we like went to Lambeau Field. We like did the tour, and then we like watched their practice. And I got Donald Driver's autograph when he was like on the practice squad. And he's just some nobody. And then we were like, oh, hey, it's that guy. And we're like, oh, wow, he's like a Hall of Fame wide receiver now. But
It's
like,
worth a pretty penny now.
yeah, and well, it's on a piece of newspaper. I don't know if anyone wants it.
Okay.
But like, you know, it's just you build memories like that. And then I remember being 7 and then winning the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Great year. And I think that was when I started becoming a fan because my dad was just really happy, and I was like, this is fun. And then I just started watching, and it's like from then on, you know, I've watched 2 quarterbacks, and it's been a great time.
I don't think I've ever heard the words uttered in this particular order that were vacation to Wisconsin.
Well, you're not
That's an interesting
from
choice.
Illinois or Minnesota or Iowa or some like state around here, Michigan even. Because, you know, I mean, it's one of those things where like you live in like Chicago, so it's like city, and you go to Wisconsin, it's like, hey, this is like country essentially. So it's like getting like, so you don't want to go to Southern Illinois, that's like corn. But Wisconsin, that's like, you know, you got mountains and lakes and Like everything's cheese.
It's fucking cold.
And it's cold, but so that's essentially why. So I love just turning on the Chicago radio. That was the thing. It's like growing up, I would like be in school and they're like, "You're the Packer kid," and I'd be like, "Packers gonna win." They typically win. And then the Bears would be like, "Ah." And I remember the one year we went to these Packers Bears at Soldier Field. It was the game where it was Brett Favre's final year as the Packers with the Packers, and it was a miserable experience.
Did you wear Packers stuff to the game?
Yes, me and my dad wore Packers stuff, and we were sitting there, and the Packers were like 9-1, and the Bears were like 2-7, and we got destroyed. It was like negative 20 degrees. It was wind gust. Favre couldn't even throw the ball well, and it was just like constant, like, "Bear down, get out of there." And then as my dad, some fan was like, "Not looking good for you guys." My dad was like, "Hey, we're 9-1," and he's like, "Hey, this is our Super Bowl." Which, he's not wrong. It was their Super Bowl.
I mean,
But that was a fun time. So honestly, I hate the Bears, I think, the most in the division, followed by the Vikings because they're the Vikings. And the Lions is just like,
feel bad for them.
You just feel bad for them. Like it's kind of like I guess it'd be like Bear and the Jets or the Bills
or
the Dolphins or just any AFC team.
So just basically anyone in the NFL. So fun fact, the Redskins became the first team since the Bills in Week 15 of 2014 to score 19-plus points and win a game without scoring an offensive or defensive touchdown. So good job, Redskins. It's good. Yeah. The Lions have lost 4 straight now.
Hold on, you're telling me that those 19 points were all field goals?
No, they scored a special teams touchdown, and then they scored 12 off of field goals.
But they did not score a single offensive or defensive touchdown. So that's another one for you.
Wait, Dan, how did you become a Detroit fan? You grew up in Detroit.
Yeah, so I grew up in the area, and you root for the Lions, and we have always had great individual players, and we've wasted their careers with no surrounding talent.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, Matt Stafford. Those are Hall of Famers.
We'll pretend the list goes on.
Those are like decade Hall of Fame players, right?
Yeah. I feel bad about someone who actually just passed away very recently, Charles Rogers.
Oh yeah.
He was supposed to be the next big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The way that he declined, especially after he got that sternum injury that basically ended his career. Or no, it was a collarbone injury.
Yeah.
That was sad to hear. Then only found out that he just died like last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was only 36 as well. So it's like
man. that was pretty sad for me when I was a student assistant at State. He was a sophomore or junior there, and this was the dude. I mean, think of the most popular player in college right now, and he was just a really humble guy, and you would go up to him and he'd sign stuff. I'd ask him to sign stuff for my family for Christmas gifts when you're in college.
He was infamous for being real nice with fans.
Super nice. And then when I got to the Lions, I interned. He got drafted, and that was the year I interned with the Lions. And just same thing, so it's just. I don't know, man. Football is an avenue for a lot of different things, and it gives people opportunities. But I think that one of the things I think is tough to see is that, when people have opportunities, sometimes there isn't support around them, whether it's from the NFL or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that are able to make a lot of money. There's a lot of people that take advantage of them, and there's a lot of trust, and it's just sad to see the whole thing, But I know there's a lot of stories like that, but it's still this one. Everything you read about him, how he was as an individual, is all true, and so you hate to see that.
Yeah, he was well known for doing nice things for fans and stuff. He came down. I forget what convention that was for down in Houston, but he stayed after to sign kids cards, autograph the cards and stuff, take pictures with them. And my next door neighbor actually was there at the show and got something signed by him, which was really cool. He was like, "Yeah, dude, Charles Rogers is the nicest dude I've ever met." I'm like, "Yeah, he seems cool."
Damn.
So sad to hear, but that's football.
Yep. And it's it's even sadder when you're watching the Lions Redskins game.
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins played football, and
yeah, he did.
He got 156 yards and an interception, which honestly, it's better than like in some of his other games he's had.
Dude, did I mention? I think I mentioned this last week, but again, I just want to reiterate. I think this guy is a project QB, and he is being given just the worst shake imaginable. It is such a bummer. They are fucking this, like, similar to what Dan was saying. He is in no way being supported at all, like in any way, and it's a bummer. It's sad. It's sad to see.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like he's not? It doesn't have a supporting cast, or you're saying outside of football?
Both, really, but I mean, mainly like
he's on the Redskins.
Yeah, mainly, right? But I mean, but really beyond that, like I don't know. Personally, I view him. I mean, you haven't here for the other weeks, but like going back to the draft, I viewed Dwayne Haskins as a person that should not have been a first-round pick in most other years. He probably would have been a second-round pick, in my opinion, and that would be fine. Like he still has the potential to be good, but he because he's a first-round pick, he is being thrust into this responsibility of leading a shitty team in a bad situation. And I think it's unfair to him because I think, needs a lot more time in the cooker. Like he needs at least a year to sit before he should be thrown out there. And he especially thrown out there with a team like this. You know, it's like one of the worst situations he could have been in. Like you compare that to like someone like Lamar Jackson, who did need some help coming out of college, but obviously not as much as Dwayne Haskins did, and then got like the luckiest break of his life and got drafted late and went to, one of the best coaches in the league. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, their defense is still good. Like they had 6 sacks and 3 interceptions. Like that's pretty solid. In fact, that's like probably like sack Rodgers and like lose or some shit.
I have no doubt that the Lions win this if Stafford was playing. No doubt.
They'd win.
I've given up analyzing quarterbacks because here's where I kind of gave it up is I watched a lot of Michigan State football games, and when I saw Kirk Cousins, I'm like, the dude cannot throw an out route from the right hash running to a left out route. And I'm like, there's no way this guy's going to be an NFL quarterback. Like more power to him. He's like way out of his league. He's like maximized his talent. And then here he is. Like how he's been in the league this long. I can't explain
I don't know either.
Ask Rob. Rob knows.
There's a lot. You've stumbled into a long running meme on this show, Dan.
What, you're not a Cousins guy?
Oh no, actually, Krendor and Sidvicta are very anti-Cousins people. And I have been very... Cousins is a pretty good quarterback who plays to this.
Well, let me give you the background. So, obviously, I am anti-Vikings. I don't hate them, but I hate them in like a rivalry sense. Yeah. So, what I've learned is Kirk Cousins. Typically, if you make him play football, you win the game. Because so at the first half of the season, they would run with first half of the season they would run with Dalvin Cook, and whenever Dalvin Cook got shut down and Cousins had to pass over 30 times, they'd lose the game. But recently, that theory's gone out the window because he's had to pass, but they've been winning. However, I mean the other way, they were down 20 to nothing.
Important to note, recently is now like 5 or 6 weeks of the season.
All right,
so more than half
they're
of
down
what we
20
played.
to nothing to the Broncos at home and pulled off like a miracle comeback. All right, that's not like, oh man, he sure is showing the competition. That's like we almost lost, but thank God we barely won because they collapsed. Yeah. And then they barely beat the Cowboys too. So I mean, it's not like they're decisive victories.
I personally have never cared about Kirk Cousins at all. I just love talking to Rob. So.
I mean, I can't believe he's been in the NFL for 7 years and signed a phenomenal contract with the Vikings. And I'm telling you, he doesn't have the arm strength. But, I don't know, like look at Brady, you can always talk about Brady's combine workout. Like, I think, you don't have to be a world beater to be a great quarterback. And I'm not saying he's a great quarterback to be an NFL quarterback because I think he's walking proof of it.
No,
That's no disrespect to him. He's just not as talented as a lot of other NFL
Daniel, you have made the same case that I have made many times before, which is you could win with an average quarterback. You can win with a slightly below average quarterback. I don't think you can win with a bad quarterback. I don't think that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Trent Dilfer was like middling, not
That's
bad.
who I was thinking. You just have to not lose the game. When I think of that's Trent Dilfer's, I think of just don't lose the game and you win the Super Bowl.
And Kirk, on the other hand, I think is, slightly above average most days. Maybe not, not top 10, but like probably top 15, like most of the time. And you could definitely win with a guy like that. We've seen it many times.
Speaking of drama, I want to stir the pot a little bit. Bear, did you see that Brady says he's miserable and the Patriots' strength are defense and special teams? What have you talked about that yet?
Yeah, we suck. It's pretty much the long and the short of it. Our offense is not very good this year.
What did you say when there was rumors that Brady put his house up for sale? Like, what do you think he's done? You think this?
We didn't even talk about that, dude. We didn't even.
I didn't
even know he did that.
Yeah. No, there's 0% chance Brady doesn't retire a Patriot. I would eat my entire house piece by piece.
I would pay to see that.
So do you think this is last year?
No, not at all. I think he's gonna play till he's like 45.
Then why is his house up for sale and why does he say he's miserable?
Who fucking knows? He probably owns 12 houses. He's Tom Brady.
I mean, that's a good point,
Good
too.
point. No, good point. Good point.
Although I will say, I think this could be the year, guys. This could be the last one. I do like, because I mean, I watch the Patriots a lot, obviously, in the division, and I know this is every year, but for real this time, it really does look like he's lost a step a little bit. Like, and it didn't start this year. It actually started like last year and to a lesser degree the year before that, which is surprising. He's over 40, but I mean, at the same time, it's looking like it's getting close to the point where it's like maybe the injuries.
Rob can't wait. He's got.
You have no idea.
He's been laser focused on this from the moment the go was said.
I still do not want that man to retire until I can watch Sam Darnold take at least one fucking win off of him. I just want one. Just one. That's all I want.
Speaking of the Patriots.
That was the Lions and the Redskins.
Yeah. Speaking of the Patriots, they beat the Cowboys 13-9. Tom Brady, 17 of 37, 190 yards, touchdown. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad.
I mean, along those same lines, he's not having the greatest year, so that's been the expectation here, is that he's going to put up about that line, about 50% to 60% completed. As long as he's not throwing picks and contributing positively to our turnover ratio, I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
What a telling tale that this is not Brady's best season. The Patriots are still 10-1.
Oh, yeah.
We're like the weakest 10-1 we've ever been, which I know means nothing to anyone, but like we're not as strong as we've been in the past. Yeah. But we are still 10-1.
It's one of those things where like I'm like that the Packers now too. I'm like, I don't know about it. And I'm like, hey, we're 8-3. Like, I'm fine. So as long as you're up there.
Fun stat for Bear here and Patriots fan out there. This is the seventh game this season that the Patriots have held opponents to 10 or fewer points, which is the most game in a season in franchise history already, with it being through week 11. So the Patriots are already breaking franchise records with their defense, showing you how good that they were on that one.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, 10 games or 7 games with 10 or fewer points. Through 11 games is insane.
The thing is, the Patriots are a well-oiled machine. I know that, like, so often people want to have this sort of like false dichotomy or false trichotomy of like, who's responsible for the Patriots' success? Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Robert Kraft. It's like all of the
Patriots.
It's the Patriots. It's a well-oiled fucking machine. And I would say, and I have a personal bias towards coaches in general, so but I would say Bill Belichick is probably the most important gear in that machine.
Yeah.
But I mean, all things considered, the thing about Tom Brady is, even if he is not playing as well as Tom Brady tends to play, he's still one of the smartest quarterbacks, if not the smartest quarterback in the league. And he's still like one of the best leaders in the league. Like he can still rally his dudes. And that's the thing, right? And you know, like we were just talking with like Dan and the Lions and bad quarterbacks and stuff. You don't even really need to be that good. You just need to be the guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what I don't think Tom Brady is the most talented, but he's definitely the best. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he can sling it like, you know, some of these guys. Like, he doesn't have the arm like Marino, but he puts it where he needs to. He's smart. Here's my thing. Has he, I don't know this, he's never been injured, has he?
No, he has. He missed an entire year, 2009.
Right.
What happened?
He hurt his knee, I think.
Yeah, the knee injury.
It was an ACL.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But that was like pretty much the only time. Like,
that's the only major injury he's ever had.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off of Rob's amazing points about the Patriots as being the Patriots and winning, they also set an NFL record with this past game here. Now the Patriots are the first team in the NFL to win 10+ games in 17 consecutive seasons.
Yeah, they just passed the Niners, right?
Yep. They just passed the San Francisco 49ers.
So let me tell you about one unsung piece of that Patriots puzzle, because it's like you said, there's a lot of just really good players and really important pieces in that organization that make it work so well. Matthew Slater. Look up Matthew Slater. If you haven't ever heard of his name, this dude, he's on our team as a wide receiver. He's not a wide receiver. This dude is a special teams player, like exclusively special teams player. He is one of the best special teams players I've ever seen, too. It's insane. He is on the ball on like every play. He made a punt block this game, which basically won us the game. And he's one of the biggest locker room leaders, too, for like the last 8 or 9 years. He's been the dude that makes like all the post-game locker room speeches and stuff. And you need that guy, too, on your team.
I've never heard of this guy. Let me read off the stats for you, Bear.
Yeah.
3-time Super Bowl champion, 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team All-Pro, second team All-Pro, Bart Star Award winner. I never heard of this guy in my life.
I know, exactly. Dude. That's exactly what I'm trying to fucking tell you. This is one of the most unsung heroes of this organization, and he is a fucking special teams player. There's people like that throughout the team, throughout the organization, that make it what it is.
I only know about him because I saw them. I don't forget what I was watching. I think it was one of those like Sunday night games or whatever, and they had a little special about him, and they were just like, "Yeah, this guy's insane. Like he just constantly is like on special teams, making plays, doing all this." And I was like, "Dude, this guy sounds awesome." And then I was watching yesterday, and like he blocked the punt, and I was like, "Wait, is that guy?" And I was like, "It is that guy."
It's almost always him too, dude. Like you go crazy if you start to pay attention to it. It's like, and there's Slater on the special teams play. It's like 90% of the plays he's there.
People underrate
in the
special
5th
teams.
round, 153rd pick.
Yeah.
2008. You know,
if I could gobble again on Bill Belichick's knob, I would say that he is one of the few coaches, it feels like at least, in the NFL that really, really cares about special teams. I mean, he used to be a special teams coordinator, but beyond that, like if you ever hear, if anyone, the quickest way to make Bill Belichick smile in an interview is ask him about a special teams play.
Talk about the punting for the day, right?
Yeah, no, for real. Like he loves that shit. And honestly, I think people underestimate how important it is.
We've been winning half our games this year off our special teams play, and that's not an exaggeration. We create so many huge opportunities based off of those tiny moments in the game where we were just better prepared.
And conversely, the Jets, who are not doing anywhere near as close to as well as the Patriots, well, we are also like last in the league in starting field position.
Yeah.
You know where that comes from?
Well,
special fucking teams.
That's the thing, is like people underrate special teams. It's like, it's just one little thing. You come out and punt, or you can, but like think about how many games are decided by field goals. How many games are decided by field positioning of like, my God, we got to start
Dan was just
5.
talking about the Lions' woes this year. Like half their games have been decided by 3 or less points or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Redskins literally won that game because of special teams. In fact, the old a lot of the Bears teams, they would just win games by special teams. They had Devin Hester.
Devin Hester.
Yeah,
he was a monster.
Yeah, and then Robbie Gold before they were like, we'll cut him. We don't need him. Now they're like, please come back.
Even kickers are underappreciated in the league. I mean, they're usually the highest all-time point scorers for teams. Like
we've been hurting because of that, dude. We lost our the all-time great kicker that we had to replace our all-time great kicker for the last 10 to 15 years. But we've been suffering this year. It's been tough.
Yeah, like even Mason Crosby with the Packers. He had like a 2-year span where he was just like in his head and he wasn't making anything. And everyone's like, cut him. And now I'm like, dude, I'm glad we kept him because he's like at least consistent enough.
Yeah.
You know? So you
want consistency over there in that position for sure. Actually, another underappreciated special teams role that people don't talk about and definitely do not get accolades, but teams around the league have dedicated guys, people that they are signing contracts to do literally just this, and that's long snappers. I'm not kidding. There are dedicated long snappers in the NFL, like lots of them that get paid salaries based on long snapping, which is just a special teams position.
Joe Cordano for us.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Bear knows who that is.
Goddamn right.
You know, and there wasn't any. Let me think. He knew off the drop of his hat who that was.
He was just honored in our most recent playbill as a member of the military as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, speaking of inconsistency, the NFC East.
Nice.
The Cowboys now 6-5 lead that division, and the Eagles
and of
5
course,
and 6.
as is tradition, they will play for the division in Week 16.
Yep, that's his tradition. And they will be the worst team probably because right now the 49ers, Seahawks got 10-1, 9-2, Packers, Vikings 8-3, and then the Saints 9-2. So it's those are probably all the wild cards.
But don't you worry, Coach. Don't you worry. The power rankings have taken care of them.
Fantastic.
Please don't let me feel the pain of them being in the top 10 still.
I'm sure this loss has skyrocketed them into the top 5
for sure. Speaking of long snappers, the Giants could use one because their long snapper had a god awful snap. It literally skidded across the ground. It was like skipping a rock, and it got to the field goal kicker and they missed it. So the Giants lost to the Bears 19-14, and they missed 3 field goals in the first half. So
well, there you go. Kickers are important, boys. You see?
It was the third missed field goal. The coach was like, "Come on, man!" It was just bad.
What do you guys think of Allen Robinson?
I think the receiver for the Bears, right?
Yeah. He was the only person to put up any kind of decent fantasy stats this week for my team.
Oh, so. He is the actual only wide receiver the Bears have.
Yeah,
pretty much. I feel like he just keeps getting put on teams without quarterbacks, and I root for him because he was with who's the guy? Where did the Jacksonville quarterback go?
Bortles.
Oh, he's back up to Jared Goff right now, actually.
And then now he's playing for Trubisky, who's kind of the same guy. I just want to ask you. I also want to ask you this. It's completely a 90-degree turn from what you guys are talking about. So,
all right.
Why do you guys think you prefer NFL to college football?
Oh. Well, I mean, for me personally, I don't know if this is the same as everybody else, but for me, it's that the games are really lopsided, and I also it's a couple of things. Games are really lopsided.
In college,
really
are lopsided?
In college, and I secondly, I really, really dislike the NCAA as an organization.
Okay.
And then third, basically, I don't know, the games seem to be determined primarily, or the third really is their whole playoff system and how they get people into the playoffs is just really, it seems very arbitrary and obtuse to me, looking from the outside looking in. And really, the games kind of come down to, on any college football team, there's going to be, 1 to maybe 5 NFL players on the team. And usually the team with more NFL players on it is going to win. Again, this is from me not watching a lot of college football.
Well, it also feels like it becomes very like an insider league, up Alabama again, I want to go play at Alabama. Up Alabama's good again. Up Clemson's good again. The same schools just keep getting good over and over because they're just hey, come here. And they're okay. There's no process of well, let's make this even, everybody. It's just here we are.
I hate when the same team keeps winning over and over.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Are you a college football fan, Dan?
Yeah, but that's interesting because I know you guys are all like big NFL fans. It's interesting to hear, like, I'm on the inverse. I prefer college, but I wanted to hear why. And I've from Rob's criticisms, or those are all three extremely like, oh, I get it,
Like I still enjoy watching college football. Like I'll watch bowl games. I'll be like, oh, that's like I remember watching the one with Deshaun Watson like winning. Like that was a crazy one. I was like, wow, this guy's gonna be good in the NFL. And then the Bears were like, nah, he's not. So that was fun.
There's too many college teams to root for. Is the reason why.
Yeah, there's a lot.
True. Yeah. I don't have any personal attachment to any of them. That's one of the main things.
I had one actually.
New York. Yeah, go on.
I had one personal attachment when I graduated from Weber State University in 2012. That same year, Mr. Irrelevant. Thank you. I went to college. That same year in the NFL draft, Mr. Irrelevant for that year was Tim Toon, who went to Weber State as a wide receiver.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Neat. Yeah, he did.
Bear's not the only one to go to college. I went to college.
Hey, there you go.
I went to community college.
Yeah, Crendor went to community college.
Yeah,
I think we all went to college.
Yeah, we all went to college.
Hey, high fives all around.
Yeah, right. Hey, higher education.
Woo!
I didn't complete it.
All right, well, good job, Rob.
Yeah,
I didn't either. I dropped that halfway through.
All right, well.
Anyway, Bears won.
Good job, Coach. Yeah, Bears won.
And we're all here anyway.
That was the Lions and the Redskins. So
yeah,
that's actually Giants and the Bears.
That was actually the Giants and the Bears. Yeah.
No, it was the Lions and the Redskins.
Well, that too.
Well, yeah, that too. Daniel Jones actually did pretty all right. He was 2 touchdowns, 150 yards, and they still had a chance to win at the end, which was the crazy part. The Bears are now 5-6, but it's not looking. Their offense is just probably one of the worst in football. It's just bad.
In true Bears fashion, Bear, finally the species alignment has indeed aligned for you. The only person to pick the Bears was, of course, Bear.
Yeah.
Well, we all picked the Giants, and that was our loss for the week.
Yep. Well, normally we started doing like game by game, but now we're like, it's a special occasion. I'll just hop to the Packer game because I feel like it.
Yeah.
The Packers, man, I can't believe I got excited for this game.
Wow, dude.
It was just from the start. It was just, here's the thing. We just never play good on the West Coast. This doesn't even count this season. This dates back to like years ago. Like the Packers 49ers games from like when they had Alex Smith, when they had Kaepernick, like all this shit. We would just get crushed on the West Coast. And everyone's like, it's the time zone difference. It's this thing. And I'm like, I don't know what it is, but we're just not good on the West. I don't know what it is, but either way. We started this game great by fumbling it on the like 1 yard or 5 yard line into the one. It was just bad. I don't even know if it was a fumble or not, but it just after that happened, I was like, this is bad. This is not good. And honestly, they kind of did the same formula the Chargers use, which is what worries me because it shows that like here's our weakness. Everyone have fun exploiting it.
Can be figured out, right?
Yeah, and the weakness is we can't block. So
that's a big weakness, I gotta say. Yeah,
Jimmy Graham is like 35, and he's like, I'll throw a chip block on Bosa, and it's like, well, he didn't really do anything, and he hit Rodgers. So I don't know why, but he plays basketball, everybody, so it's okay.
He dunks. I love that. I love that coach's first analysis is, well, we fumbled on the first play. Well, that seems suboptimal. Guys, you need to start blocking. And okay, there.
So that was just a terrible start, and I just noted. And then aside from Devontae Adams, we don't really have a good like number 2 receiver. We have a bunch of like 3 and 4 receivers, but we don't have a number 2. So Randall Cobb, I would love to come back if he wants to just like leave Dallas for a little bit. But aside from that, it's just our defense got exploited. We can sack the quarterback now. Like Zadarius Smith was always hitting Garoppolo. Martinez got a sack. We had some plays, but like we just give up a big play. Kevin King's like, no, I'm not gonna cover, and it's like up 40-yard touchdown. It's not
that Kittle touchdown.
You think that's what he says when he's getting burned on a 9 route?
I'm not gonna cover. It was like God. It was, and then their big thing was they shut Aaron Jones down because they realized, much like The Panthers, we run through Aaron Jones. Our offense isn't actually through Aaron Rodgers, it's through Aaron Jones. And they shut him down, and then it's like, what do we do now? And then Aaron Rodgers holds on to the ball for 10 years and doesn't throw it, and they're like, well, okay. It's not.
We need better blocking.
Yeah, it's either we don't block and Rodgers gets sacked. Rodgers holds onto the ball for too long and because he doesn't want to throw an interception and gets sacked, or our defense gives up a big play. But I still have hope because we're 8-3. Like here's the thing, we've beaten like good teams. We beat the Chiefs, we beat the Vikings. Like we've beaten some good teams, we beat the Panthers, but losing to the 49ers like that it's not good.
That's big brother putting down little brother there in the NFC.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, they're also probably going to be someone that you end up facing in the playoffs too.
Oh yeah, probably. But the thing that gives me hope is I remember the year we won the Super Bowl, we played the Falcons in the season, and the Falcons like steamrolled us. Like they crushed us in the season. I was like, this is bad. And we had to play them in the divisional game. We had to go to Atlanta, and I was like, this is just, I'm not feeling good. They destroy us regular season. And we came into that game, we were hot, and we just like rolled them. We were up like 28-7 at halftime. We just like kept rolling. So it's like things can change over the course of weeks. Like players get hot, you change up your scheme, you do whatever. But like it's still not good. 'Cause, I mean, there's the year the Packers went 15-1, and it was like easy Super Bowl, and you get crushed by the 8-8 Giants in the divisional game.
What a year that was, Coach.
What a year that was. Yep.
Yeah,
any given Sunday.
Yep.
I don't know how many of you had a 5 p.m. Hard cutoff, but just letting you know, it's 5 p.m.
Oh,
yeah.
But you're welcome to stay if you.
Yeah, we want you to stay, Dan. But
I would love to, but give me a rain check. Give me a playoff rain check. I'll come in and hang out. But
all right.
No, it was fun. It was fun to like talk to people that don't know what pain is like.
Yeah.
And but no, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Absolutely.
And I'll be rooting for the Lions from here on out.
Hey,
dude, there's gonna be a lot of disappointed people that they're not gonna get to hear your reactions to the pick'ems or the power rankings, Dan. So you got to come back.
You do have to come back.
Let me. What week are we on in the NFL? ESPN NFL Week 12. I'm gonna give you my quick 10-second picks.
All right, give us those picks.
And then based on those, I think I'm gonna get more wins than you guys combined.
All right.
Wow.
All right. See
Well,
it.
I am the league leader, so here we go.
Here we go. Bears and Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Bills and Cowboys. Saints and Falcons. Titans, Colts. 49ers, Ravens. 49ers.
Oh.
Jets, Bengals. Just for Rob. Bengals.
Wait, did you say Jets or Bengals? Did you say
Bengals.
Bengals.
I got the Browns over the Steelers. I got the Eagles over the Dolphins. I have Panthers over the Redskins. I have Giants over the Packers. I have the Jags over the Bucks, and those are all spite picks, just for you. Those are all.
All right. Yeah.
I got Rams over Cardinals. I got Chiefs over Raiders. I got Broncos over Chargers. I have Vikings over Seahawks, and I have Texans over Bears, Patriots. Thank you guys for having me, and I'll see you guys in the playoffs.
Hell yeah.
All right, see you in the playoffs.
Anytime, Dan. Anytime. See ya.
See you.
Bye.
Wow, I hate that guy.
Good time.
Thank
God he's gone.
Yeah. So
Those are going to be, by the way, for the record, the worst pick of
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Easily. So now we can get back to normal. Thank God.
Yeah.
So let's see, where were we? Oh yeah, Packers 49ers. Man, what a shit show. I pray to Jesus that we fix something. Thing is, hey, even if we lose every game, we'll be 8-8, and that could make the playoffs. But I hope we don't. We play the Redskins, the Giants, and the Lions. If we don't win those 3 games, we don't deserve to be anywhere near the playoffs. So
Yeah, you're right.
I'm hoping we fix it.
In all due course of optimism, Dan said some very middling things about LaFleur, so you should be.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't even question LaFleur. I think he's a good coach. My issue is the player personnel. And I trust Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones is like really good. I trust Devontae Adams. I think Aaron Rodgers can get hot. I'm like, it's the secondary and the offensive line that worries me. because you got to block, and then you gotta cover George Kittle when he's fucking running down the field. Like, come on, he's like a big tight end. Like, just cover him. Just put a guy.
Yeah, anybody.
Anybody.
To show you the how great the Niners defense has been going. 49ers defense has 3+ sacks in 8 consecutive games for the first time since 1982, which is the first time, also not coincidentally, that sacks were an official stat. Wow. So, since sacks have been a thing, this has been the best defense through 8 consecutive games that we've ever seen, with a 3+ sacks, and that's
they're also allowing.
I play defense, and that is insane. That is absolutely insane.
They're also allowing the least passing yards at a historic level. And Aaron Rodgers, this game was I think the least passing yards he's had dating back to 2015 against the Cardinals in the playoffs or something like that. It's not good. The 49ers, their defense it's for real. So now I've actually seen it live, and I'm like, here's their best strength. It almost reminds me of the Bears from last year, is that they can rush you with 3 or 4 guys. And when you can rush with 3 or 4 guys, it allows you to just play man or zone, or have more guys in coverage, so it's harder to pass. And so you're just stuck in this how do we play around this? Because they've got DeForest Buckner, they've got Bosa, they've got Arik Armstead.
They've been taking first round D-line for years, and it's worked for them.
Also, the safety, what's his name? Jimmy Ward.
Yeah,
Jimmy Ward, really good.
Ward,
He made a really good play. The other thing that killed us was, again, penalties. Some of those penalties were Detroit Lion Packer game level penalties, where Kevin King got called hands to the face. I was like, is this Detroit Lion game face? Because it looked like it. He didn't have any hands near his face at all. They called a back block or whatever it is on Allison. He didn't even shove him in the back. Even Chris Collinsworth I don't see any back touch in there, man. And then Adams had he bumped the guy and they called a personal foul. It was just ticky-tack plays at the start, and it kind of balanced out. But we got no rhythm going, because every time be nice, a good play to get us going, they're flag. And so that's it. It was just nothing went right in that first half, and it just kind of carried over. But
the Packers have allowed 1 rushing touchdown to opposing running back in 9 of their last 10 games. So good job, Coach.
It's not. If you can run the ball, you're gonna have a fun day against the Packers.
And A-Rod's sack fumble was the first opening drive turnover for the Packers since Week 17 of 2017.
The thing is, with the games we win, we typically get turnovers in. And we haven't been getting turnovers in these types of games. We're getting sacks. We actually had some really unlucky things, the 49ers snapped it, and Garoppolo missed the snap, and the ball flew out. And typically the defense recovers those, and it went straight to the running back. And I was like, you kidding me? It was just bad bounces. It was just, I feel if we played again, I think it would be a much closer game. I think the 49ers would probably still win, but I think it would be a much closer game.
That actually reminds me, 2 weeks ago in the Jets game, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Jamal Adams actually caused 2 fumbles in that game. But one of the fumbles, no joke, he swats the ball out of Daniel Jones's hand, and the football gods peer down and say, "No, the Giants keep this one," and the ball moves maybe 6 inches through the air directly into Saquon Barkley's waiting hands. He's not even trying to catch it. He doesn't know it's there. It just dumps itself into his hands. Sorry, go on.
So
there's your 6 degrees of jet separation for the play here.
Honestly, Garoppolo, he plays similar to that. He's not an elite quarterback, but he's got that kind of Kirk Cousins vibe, where he does enough to get the job done. In fact, I think I'd rather. Well, I don't know if I'd rather have him than Kirk Cousins. I feel like they're on the same tier almost. But I don't know.
I feel like Garoppolo is a little bit. I mean, he's got some XP to get before he's on.
Yeah, I think he's still got a little way to go. But I mean, he's still getting the job done.
The team surrounding Jimmy is incredible.
Oh yeah,
the Niners.
It's great.
I don't think any of us were expecting them to do this well.
Actually, if you go back and watch the preseason thing, I ranked the 49ers very good above everyone else, and then Sid Victor's like, the 49ers? I don't think they're going to do it.
I did think they were going to be better this year, but I definitely was not expecting 10-1.
Oh yeah, I don't think anybody was expecting like this good.
No, if I recall, I think we were saying that the Niners were going to finish like maybe 10-6 or something like that.
Yeah, or like 9-7 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are
that doesn't
exceeding.
You do a piss poor impersonation.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like hello, I'm Invicta. I root for the Buccaneers.
So it'll be interesting to see how things pan out because we still got another fourth of the season to go. People can get injured, things can happen. You don't know what's going to go on. So we'll see how that pans out, and I hope the Packers sure up some things because they sure need to sure them up in the last fourth of the season. So let's go over some other games. We had the Buccaneers beat the Falcons. If anybody's going to cool off those hot Falcons, of course it had to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep. Thank you, Coach. Tampa Bay Buccaneers doing great things and ruining their draft positions one game at a time. And shout out to Jameis Winston only throwing 2 interceptions, which were absolutely 110% without a shadow of a doubt his fault. I don't care how Bucky Bruce tries to paint it. Both of them were god-awful throws that should have never been made. And, if he gets hit by a bus tomorrow, I think I'll sleep soundly.
I will say, Jameis Winston in fantasy got me 30 points. And Calvin Ridley.
He did better than my quarterback. It was David freaking Carr. Or sorry, Aaron. No, A-Rod didn't play either. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Brady got me 10 points on the bench, and I'm like, dude, Jameis.
Yeah, how you feeling about that OBJ Tom Brady trade now, bud?
Man, if you want to do it. Right now,
a little late now, yeah.
I mean,
hey, Sam Darnold, I picked up hours before the games. He got me 30 points.
Hey, Ryan Griffin got me 10 as the tight end for the Jets. Like Ryan Griffin,
he's been killing it. He got re-signed. Actually.
Yeah, I've had garbage tight ends this whole year, and last week I was like, I'll pick up Ryan Griffin. He looked good, and bam, now I got a tight end. So I'm feeling that. And now, for the first time in years, I have clinched playoff berth in the Fantasy Football League after defeating Rob.
Bears team, my team, and that's amazing because both of our teams basically shouldn't have even played.
Absolutely shit the bed, yep.
And even though that happened, Bear managed to clinch a playoff spot.
I sure did, yeah.
You're welcome, Bear. You're welcome.
And,
my team, conversely, is almost entirely different from the one that I drafted.
Yeah, this was probably your best week, actually.
And you had the first pick.
I did, yeah. And almost all of my players got injured almost immediately.
Yeah, it's been a fun year for you.
Here in the final week of the regular fantasy football season, Rob is the only one without playoff implication.
That's actually true. Yeah, it actually is funny because I kind of gave up 2 of the weeks because it's just like fuck whatever.
Yeah.
But then
it definitely is funny.
But now I look at the overview and it's like, man, I really shouldn't have done that. Cause
you were very competitive still at that point.
Yeah,
you could have been competing. So now if NG's Wolfpack and Sinvicta win, they're in. But if either one of them lose and someone else wins, then they got a chance.
Yeah.
So surely Sinvicta will win.
No, I'll definitely lose. So that was the Bucs Falcons game.
Yeah.
The only thing that I will say is that that Vita V and Ndamukong Suh, the first pair of defensive tackle teammates to each score a touchdown in the same game for the first time since week 14 of 1989.
Damn.
And that was great because watching Vita V actually catch that touchdown when it was clear that nobody on this planet except maybe Jameis and possibly Bruce Arians knew that a pass was possibly going to go to Vita V was the funniest thing ever because he almost dropped it. He almost dropped it, but I'm glad he caught it. It's always great to see a DT actually make like a receiving touchdown in a game.
Yeah. That is funny.
The only thing that took it down was that it was going to pad Winston's stats. So
yeah.
And Chris Godwin is an absolute god, by the way.
Yeah, he's 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, he is actually going off on, like, insane levels. He, looking at the stats, he is at 1,071 yards on the season, only behind him is Mike Evans at 1,043, and the only one above him is Michael Thomas of the Saints at 1,242.
That is crazy that yet again a 4-7 team has two of the best wide receivers in the fucking league.
It's crazy.
And just to make it Mike Evans, I mean he deserves to be recognized just because he's being wasted on this trash team. He did just surpass AJ Green for the 7th most receiving yards in players' first 6 seasons in NFL history. He's through 6 seasons, he's passed AJ Green, who was sitting at 7,135 yards for 6 seasons. That's only 6 seasons.
That's crazy. Yeah, it is wild.
It's actually
that's well over 1,000 yards per season.
It's crazy too because Chris Godwin leads the league with 9 touchdowns, and tied in second is DJ Chark with Jacksonville, Kenny Golladay with Detroit, and Marvin Jones with Detroit. All sub 500 teams.
Yeah.
So,
which means they're just airing it out in garbage time mainly, but
yeah.
As soon as the Buccaneers touch the field, it's garbage time. So,
so good for the Bucs. They've ruined their draft positioning, and
somehow these fans think that they have a chance for the wild card.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Bucs fan, I'm one of you. I don't know what you're smoking.
Right now, the Bucs would pick 12th. They're in a 4-way tie with the Jaguars, Jets, and Chargers at 9, 10, 11, 12.
Rob, you need to start winning more.
Yeah.
Anyways, please.
We might.
Dude, Rob, if the Jets were in the NFC East, you'd be fighting for a playoff spot right now.
I know, dude. Dude, you have no idea how shitty it is being a fucking Jets fan. Not just because of the Jets, but because we're in the AFC East.
Yeah.
It sucks.
So
major balls.
Bear just loves this. Bear is just grin from ear to ear.
Speaking of that division, the Bills win 20-3 over the Broncos. They shut down Brandon Allen, which not too hard to do apparently, unless you're the Vikings.
Kind of saw the writing on the wall here.
Yeah, unless you're the Vikings in the first half of last week. Then Josh Allen, 185 yards, 2 TDs, a pick. Singletary, 106 yards. Frank Gore, 65 yards. By the way, passing up Barry Sanders on the all-time rushing list.
Sanders.
Ooh.
3rd of all time now, Frank Gore.
That's crazy. Like, you think of those guys like Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith.
You don't think of Frank Gore.
You don't think of Frank Gore. Yeah.
You don't really, yeah. Well, because that's the thing, right? Is that, he has more, he hasn't ever really been the best. He's always just been fucking solid as hell.
And consistent.
And he's done that for longer than anybody else. So,
yeah.
You know?
So, congrats to him.
Yeah.
The Broncos had a leading receiver with 27 yards. That's not good.
Yeah.
And the Bills still only 2 games back in the division, and they play the Patriots. You don't know. They might do that. In fact, they're actually very similar teams. They both have garbage offenses and great defense.
Yeah.
And they played
close.
close.
It was Barry because I thought it was Marshall Faulk.
No, it was Barry Sanders because he tweeted to him congratulations.
Yeah, it was Barry.
Frank Gore surpassed Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk for the 4th most scrimmage yards in NFL history.
Well, this is just rushing yards. He passed Barry Sanders. Yeah. Then we had the Colts Texans, that Thursday nighter. Texans beat the Colts 2017. Brissett didn't play great. Watson played pretty well.
Or the Texans beat the Colts, you mean?
Yeah, Texans beat the Colts.
Yeah.
Will Fuller, 140 yards. Hopkins had 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was actually a really close game up until the Texans took the lead in the 4th and won it. It's still, I don't know about the AFC South. It's still kind of a wonky division.
Really is.
Yeah.
Although it does look like the Texans are still.
Yeah, I'd say the Texans are going to win it at this point. I mean, the Colts. Well, the Titans are right there. They've won 2 in a row. So, I mean, I think it's going to be Texans or Titans. I'm starting to lose faith in the Colts, but at the same time, I don't know. We'll see.
That's a toss-up.
Yeah, that's a toss-up. Speaking of Titans, did they play this week or they have a bye?
They did. No, they played real hard.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They played the Jaguars 42-20. Oh, my God. I almost forgot.
Yeah. They shredded them to pieces.
And Tannehill, he's just he's just doing what he needs to do. 14 of 18, 259, 2 touchdowns.
Dude, it was the Derrick Henry show. And it's been that show for the last 3 weeks over there in Tennessee.
Yeah.
159 yards, 2 touchdowns for Derrick Henry, 8.4 yard average. That is like crazy. Like every time you give him the ball, he's going to get 8.5 yards. Like that's insane statistics.
Yeah, he did that last year too, right? Like he had an insane yards per carry because he had so many just like, fucking down the field runs.
Well, having like an 80-yard touchdown does help to boost those numbers a little bit.
Right, yeah. Well, that's the thing is that like he doesn't play like him at all, but he reminds me of a guy from back in the day. You guys remember Chris Johnson?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Like he was similar where well, at least in his case, like Chris Johnson, he would run the ball like 20 times, and most of the time he's getting like 1-2 yards. But every once in a while, he'll break off like 80 because he was just so fucking fast. So like if you gave him a big enough hole, he was just fucking gone. That's not exactly how Derrick Henry plays, of course, but it stats wise, he does remind me of him.
Yeah.
Well, also Tannehill's in good company. He's the first Titans quarterback with 2+ passing touchdowns, 2+ rushing touchdowns in a single game since Steve McNair in week 8 of 2001.
Wow.
Damn.
That's the year they did the Music City Miracle play.
Yep. That is.
Yeah.
So actually, to put it into perspective, Ryan Tannehill, he started 5 games now. He's got 72 completion percentage, which is the highest that it's ever been since he's been freed from Gase. And 1,400 yards. So he's only started 5 games, and he's up there in yards.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns to 4 picks. That's it. And he's got 3 rushing touchdowns on the year too. So he's doing quite well.
It's amazing what happens when you put him on a decent team.
Yeah.
And they also have AJ Brown, rookie, who had 135 yards and a touchdown this game. So they've actually had some good draft picks. I know they had drafted Corey Davis. He seems like he's not living up to expectations really, but he seems like a pretty good number 2 guy from the looks of it. He's got 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I think he's not a number 1, but AJ Brown's looking very good. From what I'm seeing here. So the Titans, and they got a defense. Don't forget about that. They have a pretty good defense at that. So I think you never know. Titans keep pushing. They can make a playoff spot.
They're just another middle of the pack team, though. I mean, like we're talking seriously about them making the playoffs, but are we really considering them someone that can beat the best teams?
Oh, I mean, you never know when you get to the playoffs.
They can't beat the Patriots, Bear. Okay?
They beat the Patriots last year.
They can't beat the Patriots, Bear. Is that what we want to hear, Bear?
That was the game, everyone. I said the Titans will beat the Patriots. Everyone's like, Crador, you smoking crack again. What are you doing? And they roasted him.
So I will agree that like it's unlikely that even if they do make the playoffs that they'll go any farther than even 1 game. However, it certainly is not unprecedented that a team with a bad record ends up going all the way.
Yeah, shut up. I don't want to hear about that.
So we'll see. Well, speaking of bad records, the Jaguars are now 4-7. Nick Foles, 32-48, 272. Not very good. People are actually like getting mad because they want Minshew back in.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. They have a quarterback controversy in Jacksonville now.
Between Nick Foles and Minshew. The hottest controversy of the offseason.
Nick Foles is like he is the quantum anomaly of the NFL. He just shouldn't. He doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense about Nick Foles.
Yeah,
I was happy to see Leonard Fournette though, just like old school pound the rock. 24 carries, 19 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dude, I like Leonard Fournette. I think he's one of the better players on that team.
He's great. Well, except when I draft him in fantasy.
Yep.
The Jaguars, they're just they got some holes to fix now, especially because they traded away Jalen Ramsey and a lot of their defensive players, Dante Fowler. They're just handing him to the Rams, and the Rams aren't doing much with him. Let's talk about that game real quick. Ravens 45, Rams 6. I didn't think a game could get worse than the 49ers-Packer game, and man, I was wrong.
Lamar Jackson had 5 touchdowns. 5, coach.
Yep.
That's
Passing.
Five passing touchdowns, and he ran for nearly 100 yards on top of that.
Yeah. Might I add, I've been talking about the Rams being overrated many weeks now. And here it is.
I mean,
I never heard that.
Yeah,
I never
I don't
heard
know.
you say it.
So it's I think it's starting to show. The Rams they're just not a good team. They're not as good as they were last year. I think they look for big plays. They're not getting any big plays. Todd Gurley shut down 22 yards rushing. Goff
bad again too.
Yeah, Goff looks bad. They're just putting pressure on him and he can't handle it. Like until he finds a way to handle constant pressure in his face, or they like get him an offensive line that was as good as last year, they're gonna be bad.
The Ravens are now 11-0 when Jackson has 70+ rushing yards in the game.
God,
that is, and good luck trying to hold him under 70 yards.
Yeah,
like at this point, like I don't see anybody stopping the Ravens unless like an injury occurs. Like it's
like we said, unless the Patriots somehow have this like plan that they've been secretly holding in reserve for the playoffs. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do.
I legitimately, like, if this is a trend for him, and honestly, like I've been saying, it seems like it is, that he gets better over time through learning. I don't know what anybody's gonna do in the near future, like, because like the other thing that we have to keep in mind about the Ravens is like star power is not really associated with the Ravens, right? Like before Lamar Jackson got there, what was the main criticism that Ravens fans even had for their own team? Is like, oh, Joe Flacco, you know, he's pretty good, but look, he really doesn't have any weapons. He's got no wide receivers, he's got no running backs or something. Well, guess what? He's got all the same non-wide receivers, non-running backs. I mean, granted, they did have another draft and there are some key players here like Marquise Brown, but still, like, it's not like the Ravens suddenly have like the best running backs in football and the best wide receivers. They just have Lamar.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that should be scary to everybody because they're just going to get better and he's going to just get better. And his physical ability and mental ability combined into one will destroy this league. Everything is going to be torn apart and reworked to figure out how to stop him.
That's the thing is like, I was listening to one NFL like analyst guy break it down. He was like, it's literally like you either get crushed by him, you figure out some way to stop him, which like nobody knows right now, or he has like the RG3 thing where he has like an ACL or just something from running around so much and it just like hinders him. Like that's pretty much it.
He doesn't really, does he take hits?
He
doesn't. He takes or he slides, you know, like he doesn't put himself in harm's way all that much.
No, yeah, he slides, he gets out of bounds. Like he'll take a tackle every once in a while to get a first down, but like that's pretty much it. Like he is smart about it, and you know it probably does help that he's got RG3 right there to tell him, "Hey, dude, you should go down." Trust me, slide, dude.
That's the only reason why the Ravens even have RG3 is just to remind like Lamar, like, "Hey, by the way, you could turn into this."
Just make sure you're being safe.
Like let's not forget, like RG3. Like in 2012, he was the Lamar Jackson. Like the Redskins were 9-6. They had
he was the next Vic.
Yeah, he had 3,200 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Like he was looking amazing. Rushing yards, he had 815 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns.
He was running around like crazy,
And then they played him in that playoff game.
Even back then, watching RG3, because I was watching the NFL back then, and I was pretty actively interested in it. But RG3 never really had like he didn't look magic out on the field. You know, Lamar looks like he's cheating. And that sounds like I'm being hyperbolic, but I don't get it how he does it sometimes. It doesn't look like the human body should be able to move that way, but just the level of control he has over his momentum is ridiculous.
Yeah. It looks like a Madden game when they play. I mean, look at the score. This looks like a Madden score.
Yeah, for God's sake, he's playing on all sliders are all set to freaking maximum easy. You know, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it is wild.
To make a bigger point about Goff, that you guys were saying in the beginning of this part, the Rams have 0 passing touchdowns in 14 straight quarters.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really
Zero
bad.
passing touchdowns.
Is bad. Is not looking good.
Yeah, the Rams are, I think, officially done.
Yeah.
Ravens good, Rams bad.
Yeah, that's what we get out of that one.
By the way, I do have a hard cutoff. I didn't think we'd be approaching this, but in 29 minutes. So
Let's speed run through
speed
the
run these
remainder of
games.
it.
Yeah.
we got to talk about the Jets though, because what the hell, Rob?
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot about them. Hold on,
Yeah,
we'll
we
speed
did.
run to finish with the Jets. All right, Steelers beat the Bengals. Mason Rudolph got replaced. What the shit's going on in Pittsburgh? I have no idea. Bengals almost did a thing, but they didn't. Classic Bengals.
Yeah.
Seahawks beat the Eagles. Russell Wilson did okay. Eagles did typical Eagles stuff. Zach Ertz.
Russell Wilson did not look that great. I gotta say, I was watching that game, watching him make some decisions, and they were not good decisions.
Losing his MVP race, dude.
Lamar Jackson taking it
at
over.
this point,
Lamar Jackson's
I mean,
going to
yeah.
get it. He's
Yeah.
going
how
to
can
get it.
he not at this point? Like,
Yep.
it's insane.
Saints beat the Panthers. It looked like it was going to be a blowout, and then the Panthers came storming back and almost won it, but Drew Brees, 30-39, 311, 3 TDs, 1 pick, and they can kick field goals.
McCaffrey's still on his same pace, dude. He's just out of control.
And
Hold
hey,
on.
Kyle Allen, not too bad, 23-36, 256, 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah, he's really surprising this year, and it's good for him. Also, by the way, I just wanted to give you a hypothetical. Imagine a world where Christian McCaffrey and Lamar Jackson are on the same team.
Yep.
Fucking wild.
The football gods will not allow it. The entire universe would explode, Rob.
And then the Browns beat the Dolphins, 41-24, as they try to fight for a wild card spot.
So the Dolphins just put their last good defensive player on IR this past week. I don't remember his name, but I mean, suffice to say, the result here is then pretty self-explanatory with the fact that Baker had probably one of the best passing games of his season.
Yeah,
definitely.
And this was also Coach Crendor's crazy prediction that the Dolphins are going to beat the Browns.
Well, I didn't know they weren't going to play defense.
By the way, all of a sudden, Browns 5-6.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
They're coming up.
they're one game out of 500. They still have an opportunity.
Yep. Also, Devontae Parker, actually not a bad receiver to have on your fantasy team with the Dolphins, because that's all Ryan Fitzpatrick goes to. And then, the Browns, honestly, Baker, 327, 3 TDs, a pick. Nick Chubb, 106 yards. Jarvis Landry, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Clear favorite for Baker, by the way. That's just
turtle made
clear
it
as day
to
at
the
this point. He
water.
loves Jarvis.
Well, he's the possession guy, right? So he's
Also,
the blanket.
My subscription sound just went off, so that's a thing. Because I have my Twitch notification. Just ignore that.
Good.
Odell Beckham had 84 yards and a touchdown, so he's clearly the second favorite. Uh-oh. Trouble in Cleveland?
Trouble in Brooklyn?
And then we had the Jets blow out the Raiders.
How did this even happen, considering that Rob even picked the Raiders to win, and I locked the Raiders based on that? Rob, tell us about this, Rob.
I gotta tell you, I was very surprised to see the game play out the way it did.
I think we all were.
That's not the reaction I want to hear from you right now, Rob. The 4-7 Jets just beat the 6-5 the Raiders. Were on pace to possibly go to the playoffs, looking like they were supposed to look, and the Jets beat them. I don't want to hear like
30.
I don't want to hear like, well, yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. I got no, Rob, tell me what happened.
So here's the thing, right? Like remember coming into the year that I was saying like, well, there's a chance actually that the Jets actually make the playoffs this year. Now, look, I think that's completely off the table now. But the reason that I felt that way is because we actually had some guys, and principally among them was Sam Darnold. And for the past 4 weeks now, Sam Darnold has been...
I haven't done it in a while, sorry.
But that man has been putting on a fucking clinic. It is like I'm watching a QB. It's like the first time ever I've ever gotten to see this. There's a QB on the Jets. And I'm not talking like this isn't. So here's the thing. Like, he's being successful for like a couple of weeks. But this isn't a Sanchez type of situation, because even when Sanchez was, quote unquote playing well, he was playing poorly. Like, even in the 2 years that we went to the playoffs, he was bad. in the regular season. He was money as hell in the playoffs, but that overshadows the regular season for most people. But like, he was bad in the regular season. Sam is not like that at all. Like, he looks money as hell all the fucking time, and we beat them at like all phases of the game. They couldn't run, they couldn't pass. Like, we were just.
How did you contain Josh Jacobs to 34 yards?
Well, so
that was
here's
supposed to be my ace against Bear.
Well, that was I will say that was ultimately a foolish reason to root for the Raiders, because we are, like, I think the top ranked rush defense in the league right now.
I started Derek Carr over Aaron Rodgers because of Josh Jacobs, Rob. This is something you could have told me yesterday.
I mean, I have been all year. It's our secondary that's the problem on our defense. Our line is like,
Carr was held to 127 and an interception.
Yeah,
he completed 15 passes for an entire game. Gruden even put Glennon in. Mike freaking Glennon. Mike ex-Buccaneers all neck, no nonsense Glennon.
So here's the other thing.
What happened?
Things are happening to us that haven't happened in, I'm not kidding, years. So for instance, we are on our 6th CB. You remember I keep talking about Bleswan Austin?
Yeah.
Well, he is one of the highest rated coverage corners in the league since he started now. Damn. Like, he has, I think his PFF rating is like 86 or higher or something like that on the year, which is seriously one of the best in the league. And this is a guy who I think was even undrafted. He's a local kid from Queens who is like a fan story that fans love him, and he's good. And he's not the only one. So since we're down to like our 8th linebacker as well, we also have this 7th round pick, Fatakazi, playing, and he is also one of the highest rated linebackers in the league right now.
What's his name?
Fatakazi. It's something I forget it. What his first name is.
That's an amazing last name.
Yeah, well, his first name is Foloronzo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and he's been fucking killing it. By the way, our 1st round pick, Quinnen Williams, has done fucking nothing. And I hate to admit it, but past couple of weeks, Gase's play calling has been a lot better. He's improved, but we also haven't been behind early, and that's been one of my main issues with him, is that when we are behind early, it looks, at least to me, like he just throws in the towel like instantly. But when we're up early, man, Sammy D can fucking kill it, man. He had a rushing touchdown, two passing touchdowns. Like, we looked like a team. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I think we are a middling team that looked like a garbage team because of injuries. And that's why we're winning some games here. Also, we have an easier schedule back half of the season. We knew that going in. So,
well, at least you get to watch real football now.
So, dude,
let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's still the Jets, but good lord, like, what the heck, Rob?
Play that meme of the guy picking between the 2 buttons and sweating, and he's like, lose out the rest of the season to get better draft position, or watch Sam Darnold own people. And
the Jets have beaten 2 semi-good teams, which are both, by the way, for the record, both 6-5 now. The Cowboys and the Raiders.
Yeah,
but we'll get to the power rankings hopefully soon.
But they did lose to the Dolphins. Still.
They did.
That is pretty bad.
They did. Jamie, can you go ahead and pull up that clip of them losing to the Dolphins, please?
You pull up that clip of Sam Darnold doing DMT before the game.
Yeah.
So that was all the games this week.
Yeah.
Sinvicta, would you like to take us to the power rankings?
Here we go, Coach Krendor, power rankings here on Week 12, going into Week 12 for the NFL power rankings at NFL.com, Bible of the Internet. You all know it by now. 2 years now, the Bible of the Internet. Now, here we go with the top 10. Let's keep it to the top 5. It's an easy one. So top 5, starting with Robert. Go.
The Patriots.
Yep. Bear.
The Ravens.
Coach?
49ers.
Robert? Give you a hint on the last two. The top 5 have not changed from last week.
Fuck, it's a memory game. I've gotten bad at ones of those. Seahawks?
Yep, and Bear for the dunk.
Saints.
That is correct. Good job, guys. In order, it's going to be the 49ers, the Ravens, the Patriots, Seahawks, and Saints. Literally none of them moved at all. Yeah. We'll get to the rest of the top 10 because that's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, going over to I'm gonna give this one to Bear just because he's been the only one who's left on the Browns bandwagon here. Bear, true or false? The 5 and 6 Browns are now back in the top 20 of the NFL Power Rankings on NFL.com now, rising like the Baker Mayfields of old. True or false?
Sure, yeah, give it to him.
It is absolutely correct. The Browns have indeed gotten back to all the way to rank 17th in the NFL Power Rankings, NFL.com Power Rankings, rising 4 spots. But yes, that is not indeed the thinnest dink. I almost got it right. The thinnest dink. We'll talk about the fattest doink in a moment. But the thinnest dink, I'm going to give this one to Coach. Coach, which team has risen the most? It was not the Browns who rose 4 games. I'll give you a hint. This team rose 6 places for the thinnest dink of the week.
So I feel like this is going to sound crazy, but is it the New York Jets?
It is indeed.
I thought so.
I can't believe it. The New York Jets. It's not it's actually the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
Well,
really sorry.
Sorry.
The excitement.
The Titans have risen up to the 12th spot, leapfrogging the Raiders, who fall to 13th. The Steelers going up to 14th from 16th. The Rams dropping 4 spots. But guys, that was not the fattest doink. Robert, this one's for you. Rob, the team that has had the fattest doink was not the Rams. This team almost doubled the places that they have dropped, dropping 7 spots.
Wow.
Can you name? I'll give you 2 guesses because this one's tough. 2 guesses.
I think I know it.
The fattest doink dropping 7 spots.
7 spots, boy. Is it the Colts?
It is not the Colts. The Colts actually only dropped 1 spot, going from 15th to 16th.
Oof.
I'll do you one better, Rob. I'll do you one better. They were ranked 13th last week.
Wow. Oh, is it the Eagles?
It is the Eagles. They dropped 7 spots, falling below notable teams such as the Chargers, the Panthers, the Browns, the Colts, and the Rams now, who are rounding out the top, the bottom 20 here. But now we go to the very important ones. And this one, again, is for Robert. Rob, the New York Jets. True or false? The New York Jets, your streaking New York Jets, have finally broken the top 20 on NFL Power Rankings on NFL.com Power Rankings.
Ooh. I'm gonna call this one a false.
That is absolutely correct. The Jets are still ranked, despite rising almost for the thinnest dink of the week with 5 spots. They are still only ranked 22nd. But hey, they've leapfrogged the Jaguars, the Falcons, the Broncos, Cardinals, and inexplicably the Buccaneers are still 27th, even though we beat the Cardinals. Coach Crendor.
Yep.
Coach Crendor, we got two questions left here.
Yep.
Bottom of the NFL Power Rankings, 31st and 32nd. Can you name both teams? I'll give you a hint. One of them's the Bengals.
I assume that. Is one of them the Dolphins?
No.
Oh.
Bear, can you get a wild guess here?
No.
It is not the Dolphins. It's not the Bucs. It's not the Jets.
Give me the Falcons.
It is not It is the 2-9 New York Giants
Ah.
now falling to the 31st position, being leapfrogged by the Redskins, Rob's favorite team, to 2-9, and then Lions, and then Buccaneers. Now, of course, guys, the moment you've been waiting for.
Oh boy.
Your teams, everyone's teams, the Dallas Cowboys. Don't worry, Coach. The gods were kind to us in our teams of all teams. True or false? The Cowboys are still ranked in the top 10 of the NFL Power Rankings, NFL.com Power Rankings. Coach?
I gotta say true.
Bear?
Just don't tell me it's true. It's false.
Robert?
I mean, if I'm trying to win this game, I'm going to say true.
That is kind of correct, but Bear is the only one who was correct. The Cowboys have finally been tossed out of the top 10, landing with a giant Jerry Jones size thud at rank 11.
Oh my
God! They're still ranked above notable teams such as the 6-5 Titans, the 6-5 Raiders, the 6-5 Steelers, the 6-5 Rams, 6-5 Colts, 5-6 Browns, and the 5-6 Panthers. So don't worry, guys. The Cowboys are they're up and coming, and I have faith that they will make the playoffs and then lose in the first round to probably the Eagles. Back up to Rob and Coach and Bear in the booth.
Well, that's an odd situation because the Eagles or the Cowboys will probably be one of the only teams making the playoff, but they'll probably lose to the Seahawks or some shit like that.
No, they'll still lose to the Eagles.
Well, probably.
Find a way.
They'll find a way. All right, let's get ready to pick them.
Pick'ems.
Let's get ready to pick 'em.
Nice. I like that. I actually like that. That's a lot better than
All right, Thanksgiving.
Our no music.
Is,
happy Thanksgiving. This probably won't come out until after Thanksgiving, so I hope all of you all had great dinners.
Yeah.
As a quick reminder here, Coach, you're now down by a significant margin in the pick'ems, as I've risen now to be over 4 games ahead of you.
I'll fix that. Don't worry.
And hey, I gotta say, Rob only 2 games back of Coach.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, how am I doing?
And Bear, we love you, Bear.
All right.
All right. Well, we've got the Bears-Lions.
Bears.
Oh yeah, Jeff Driscoll limited. Matt Stafford still out. Bears.
Yep. I mean,
somehow the Bears keep winning games, even though they suck.
I didn't think that they're going to beat the Giants. So
I mean, if the Giants would have made like any number of field goals, they would have won. And they still almost won at the end. So I'm still going to go Lions, mainly because
the Lions just lost to the Redskins.
The Lions
How are you
almost
thinking about this?
The Lions almost beat the Bears like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that was with Matt Stafford.
It wasn't.
Now they don't even have their. Well, all right, fine. But now they don't even have that guy either.
This game's at 9:30 a.m. on a Thursday. What the fuck, dude?
I mean,
I know it's
no one's gonna
Thanksgiving,
watch
but
it.
still, Jesus Christ.
No one's watching this.
Yeah.
Look, the strategy here is to go against Coach. It really is. But I can't because I don't think that I don't think the Bears are going to win this one. I'm sorry. I have to go Lions on this sake.
I feel like the Lions got the Thanksgiving energy, you know?
They do, yeah, it's
might,
true.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they win for Dan's sake.
Y'all got to pick against me so I can get this miracle comeback at the end of the year. So please do go for it.
All right, Bills Cowboys. I'll be taking the Bills.
I'm gonna go with Cowboys.
I gotta go Cowboys on this one.
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna go Bills.
Woo!
Because like Dak, he didn't play so well last week. He wasn't playing so hot, and the Bills stopped their defense. And the Bills stopped their defense. The Bills stopped their offense, and that's the thing. If Zeke is down, they're not so great. So
Zeke did well last week, though. He did pretty well against the pass.
Amari Cooper had
on
0 catches.
He sure did. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, another big old pin in the feather there for the cap of this fantasy team this week against Bear. That was great.
Yeah.
it was like 6 innings.
But I'm still taking Cowboys though.
Cowboys, yeah.
Saints, Falcons.
I mean, the Saints have to win this time, right? Like how?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Saints.
I would be blown away if the Saints didn't win this game.
Yeah.
I have to take Saints.
Yep. Saints.
All right.
The Falcons are doing a similar weird thing right now. So I mean, who knows?
And who the fuck knows what the Falcons are doing, man?
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
Over the last month, I have no idea what this team
Matt
is.
Ryan doesn't even know what the Falcons are doing.
Yeah.
Titans, Colts.
You talk about the biggest coin flip in the history.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got to go
absolutely.
Titans after talking about how good they are recently.
Yeah.
yeah.
Man. I don't
They
know,
got
man.
me a win last time, so you know what? Titans again. Let's do it.
Divisional game with the Colts coming off of a pretty tough loss to the Texans, who they almost beat. I got to go Colts.
Yeah, give me the Colts
fair.
here, too.
Oh. Here we go. 49ers, Ravens.
Dude. It's one of
Ravens.
the few games that doesn't matter to my Patriot season at all that I'm going to watch the entirety of this year. This is going to be such a good game.
I can't wait.
I think
But-
the Ravens are going to be unstoppable.
I agree. Yeah, I like the Niners are the best chance we have of seeing Lamar Jackson contained, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
I-
I actually think this game is the best chance that we can see this year before the playoffs of a team finding out some kind of way to slow him down at least.
Yeah.
But I also just don't really see it happening because Lamar.
I'm not going to pick against the Ravens until somebody like slows them down.
It's been since their bye, they've been like a completely transformed team, and no one's even close.
So
Yeah.
we're all going Ravens.
Yeah.
Jets, Bengals.
Well,
I'll
I'm
take
taking the
Jets.
Jets.
Yeah, take the Jets.
You got to take the Jets here.
I'm locking the Jets.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
Okay.
a risky lock still.
Love that.
Yeah, for real. If there's ever a team that could feed a win to the Bengals so that they don't, it's the Jets. So
God damn it, Rob! You're not supposed to be doing this right now. You're supposed to be the one saying, "Oh, actually, Savictus is my team. I'm taking the lock." Okay, then I can be, "Oh, darn! I guess I gotta take like."
oh, I
the
am
Browns
never
or something."
certain, my friend. Not of the
Browns, Steelers.
Browns.
Go Browns.
I'll take Browns.
Go Browns. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they did just beat Mason Rudolph over the head with his own helmet. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that was like a week ago. Now they're playing again.
Yeah. I
Kinda
forgot.
weird.
yeah, I guess Browns.
Woo!
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
This is gonna be an uncomfortable game.
Yeah.
Eagles, Dolphins.
Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles.
Yeah, I think the Eagles will win it.
Although I guess is what I'd say.
Yeah, I'm not super sure, but I still think the Eagles can win, and they
Yeah.
will win.
Yep, gonna be Eagles.
Panthers, Redskins.
Locking in the Panthers.
Oh, you son of a bitch! I was gonna do it.
Well, I'll take Panthers. I think we're all
Yeah,
taking
I'm taking
Panthers.
Panthers too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Packers, Giants.
Packers.
I'll take the Packers, but now I'm scared.
They're not going to lose to the Giants.
I don't think
The
they'll lose to the Giants. If anything, the
Giants
Giants,
fuck.
like every game, Daniel Jones has a fumble and like a strip sack fumble, and we've got the edge rushers to get to him. So I think that alone will give us something.
Is he going to do it?
The thing is, though, I think the Packers are shaking pretty hard right
I mean,
now.
I thought they were shaken by the Chargers, and they beat the Panthers next week.
But that's the. I guess Packers.
Yeah.
I can totally see it. Like I don't understand why you guys think this is such a sure thing though. Like
No,
I
no,
can
I
totally
agree.
see it
Giants
losing.
suck.
I
think it's a sure thing. The Giants are awful.
The Giants
Yeah.
do suck, but I think that I can see this very easily going to New York.
I think that's not gonna be a blowout. I think it's gonna be a close game, but I think we're gonna win.
the Patriots are the better team, but I can definitely see the Giants winning.
I agree, but the Packers are playing, so that's what we got to consider.
Yeah. That's the crazy part.
Instantaneous. Years and years of training. That's developed the skill over.
I was
many
waiting to
years.
see how fast Barrett was going to catch on to that.
It was locked and loaded, ready to go.
Fired off like a cannon.
See, that's why we love Barrett.
Yeah. Buccaneers, Jaguars.
Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks.
Fudging cares.
That's the Florida Bowl.
Actually, you know what? The Bucs are going to lose this game because that's what they do. Last week they gave you hope, and then they're here to just completely squash it this week against the Jaguars.
No, I have,
so
I have no hope. I'm just trying. I'm worried about my Pick'em's record now.
Well, I'm going to pick the Jags for you. How about that?
I think
I'm
you're
gonna
crazy.
pick the Jags for you.
I think you're both crazy. I think the Buccaneers will win. The Jaguars, if there's any team worse than the Bucs, it could be the Jaguars in the Florida fashion. And then the Dolphins. Actually, just Florida. So yeah, I'm taking the Bucs.
It's your favorite state.
Rams, Cardinals.
Cardinals, dude. I think Kyler Murray could put it to the Rams this year.
I'm kind of with you. I think I'm going to take the Cards.
Tell you what, I'm going to lock the Cardinals.
Whoa!
That's
crazy because I'm gonna pick the Rams.
Oh, the Rams can't score touchdowns.
That's true. They can't do that. So Kyler Murray's been better at that lately.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals are really good, actually.
The Rams absolutely have to win this game.
Cardinals almost beat the 49ers twice, and after seeing the 49ers, I'm like, oh my God.
If they don't, I will never pick the Rams again this season.
I already hopped off that train last year.
Yeah.
I think Kyler Murray is legit. I think Jared Goff is not.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. They literally could have beat the 49ers like 2 weeks ago. Like it was, they were up with like a minute left. So yeah, Chiefs, Raiders.
Chiefs.
Yep.
Yeah, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Raiders just lost by 30 to the Jets.
To the freaking Jets.
I don't trust them anymore.
It is divisional, though. It is divisional.
No, Rob, it doesn't matter. They lost to the Jets.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs, too.
All right. Chargers, Broncos.
Another bit of a coin flip here, honestly.
Give me the Chargers, I guess.
Is Joey Elite Dragon Flacco out?
Yeah, he's been out. Brandon Allen's been playing.
Yeah,
but is he still out?
Probably.
Even if he is, who cares?
Is he the difference maker?
I mean, I think he's gonna be. I think he's better than Brandon Allen, but
not exactly a pivot player there. So
I'm taking the Chargers.
I'm gonna still say the Chargers
too. Yeah.
I want to go Broncos, but I'm gonna take Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go, Bear.
Patriots, Texans.
I'm gonna go with the New England Patriots. Take the New England Patriots.
That's funny because the Houston Texans are gonna win this game.
What?
Yep, you heard it here first.
I mean, Dan did call it first, technically.
That's true.
I'm thinking of picking. You know what? Fuck it. I'm picking Texas. Too.
Hey, up on.
Bear.
Me
what's
too.
Wrong with, what?
Just kidding, you fucking idiot.
Listen, the Houston Texan defense is not great, but I think it's good enough to slow down the Patriots offense. And then their offense, I think, can get enough points to score more than the Patriots because that's how you win the football game. And I think that's going to happen.
Biggest case of bigger brother putting down smaller brother that I've ever seen for this entire season.
The Texans are our farm team, dude. I don't know what the fuck y'all are saying.
And I live in Houston, so I know what the team is like.
What I'm gonna say is the last several times that the Patriots and Texans have played each other, which I believe is only 2, with Deshaun Watson, it has been a shootout. And I think that if we go to shootout again, I think Deshaun wins this time. That's my thoughts.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Something's going to shoot out, but it's not going to be a loss.
The thing is, I don't think that's going to happen at all because almost always when we predict shootouts, it just like the complete opposite happens.
That's true, yeah.
And this game, I think, is just going to come down to the Patriots being better prepared, which has been the majority of the cases in our victories this year. It's just been we know how to win the game a very particular way against this team this week.
And the Texans almost just lost to the Colts at home. You guys are insane.
Yeah, but
you
like
picked them too.
but Deshaun Watson has a little chip on his shoulder with Tommy. I think they've had some battles, so I don't know.
No, I didn't. I picked the Patriots to win.
Oh, you did? Okay, I thought you did the Texans.
What are you talking about, Bear? I was the first one to tell you these guys are crazy.
Well, thank you. Jeez.
Well, you're both wrong. Vikings, Seahawks.
Seahawks.
This is close. This is going to be a good game.
This is a good game. Honestly, if it was in Minnesota, I would actually take the Vikings, and I hate the Vikings, but I'm going to take the Seahawks because it's in Seattle.
I am also going to take the Seahawks, especially prime time. I think they're going to take it home here.
For the same reasons that you both mentioned, I'm taking the Seahawks. But if it were in Minnesota, I'd take the Vikings.
Yeah.
I'd still take the Seahawks in that one.
Okay.
There we
I
go.
still need to lock.
You do.
I don't.
You can take the Jets, Rob. That's the only reason why I locked them.
You know what? Fuck it. Live or die on Sammy D.
Yeah.
Lock the Jets.
There it
Let's
is.
do
There
it.
you go. All right, go Bengals. I think I will take my lock here with the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he's locking against the Dolphins. I don't know if we're still like
all right, that's
weird
right.
about
That's
that.
right.
Oh, I mean,
Fine, I won't lock against the Dolphins.
I just want to try to keep us honest.
Second time Invicta's own rule has done well for him.
You don't want to lock in them Buccaneers?
I'd rather just like lock a tie in that game if I can.
but just pick like the Saints or something. It's a Thanksgiving's Day lock.
He can't pick the
Yeah.
Saints. That's like me picking the Patriots.
Yeah, I can't lock the Saints. That's,
Actually, I think I'm gonna lock the Saints. I want a Thanksgiving
Wow.
Day lock.
Oh,
There you go. That opens up the well, what did
You can lock the Cardinals if you want.
Hell no.
Honestly, I think what? You think the Rams are gonna win?
Yeah, they're gonna win.
No, they're not.
No.
They're garbage.
No, you guys, all three of you are in for a serious
They haven't
loss.
scored a touchdown in 14.
I'm locking
All
the
right.
New England Patriots.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
all right. That's it.
Sorry, that wasn't
What?
the most entertaining answer, guys. Let's locking the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Whoa, great.
All right. Hey, you know what? It's still a pretty good lock. I mean, you know,
My lock is still the
it's
Patriots.
all right, I guess.
it's
still
all
the
right. They're gonna
Patriots.
lose, so that's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Well, listening. There's nothing really to watch unless you like watching the screen for
Yeah,
good. But
I've
thanks.
Gotta go. So
You're new to listening to this podcast, click the subscribe button on YouTube or the follow on SoundCloud or whatever. I'll try to get it up on other things. We're on iTunes as well. Just give us ratings that are good, please.
This episode won't be before Thanksgiving.
It will be up before Thanksgiving, all right?
He's been good.
Yeah, I've been pretty good lately. So thanks for listening. Thanks to Dan for joining us, the Dan Gheesling. Thank you very much. And
It's not
we-
Star Wars, Rob.
we will see you next week.
Bye.
See you later.